All right, man, peace. So the NBA right now is in a very good spot. They have a lot of up and coming young players, one of them being the great young shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker. Let's see what they have to say. Of course, I'm going to chime in.
Devin Booker missing 9 of his first 11 shots, but you know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, try again in the second quarter. Finished with 46 points, led the Suns to an improbable road win against the Sixers. We have some numbers comparing Booker to notable stars like Kyrie and Russ in their third seasons.
Let me say this. This young man's averaging almost 25 a game. He's only 21 years old. He has almost every offensive move that you could think of. Great long-range shooter, great penetrator, could finish with the left or the right hand, and is one of the great streak shooters and streak scorers probably in the last 15 years or so. I mean, the man scored 70 points against the Boston Celtics last year. So he's definitely somebody to watch out for if they can get him some help down there in Phoenix or just give him time to mature.
I mean, look, franchise player of the Suns, what does that mean? That means you're the best player on a roster that does, I mean,
right.
It's a relative, the bar is not the scope.
Yeah, but it's not like he's some bum on a bum-ass team and he's just a little bit less of a bum than everybody else. Like, he does work. So it's just a matter of what the Suns front office wants to do. Do they want to be a perpetual doormat or do they actually want to build a team?
Franchise better than the Suns right now. That's what.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Exactly.
But to me, when you talk about franchise player, offense scoring, that's great. He's a tremendous scorer, a tremendous shooter at that age, especially. But then to say franchise player, I think there's another element that has to get there. Either I make players better offensively through my passing, or I make players better defensively.
I agree with Amin on that, but he's only 21. Really, right now, as far as potential, it's through the roof with that guy, with Devin Booker. When we look at James Harden, we call James Harden a franchise player, and James Harden has not played any defense for most of his career, particularly since he left OKC up until this year, where now he's playing some defense. So, James Harden is what, 27, 28? This young man is 21. He really just needs a coach who can instruct him on how to play proper defense in concert with his team. Defense is really a functionality of coaching and the team's willingness to play great defense. Now, of course, individually, it's about how much you want to play defense and how much of a dog you are on that end of the court. But in regards to team defense, that's something that has to be promoted and pushed by the coach.
Because I'm a great defensive player. And when you say all I do is score, look, that's nothing to knock wink at or anything. That's a really great play, but to be a franchise player is a step above just being a great offensive player.
And I agree with you, but he's in that conversation where you at least have to talk about it with him because he's so young, and the potential is there.
Absolutely.
And we see that potential, especially on the offensive end. Now, it hasn't transferred on the other end of the floor, and it hasn't transferred to, Amin's point is, making other guys better.
Well, not yet. But let's also remember he's not a point guard. In today's NBA, they want to try to amalgamate the point guard and the shooting guard. So who knows? He may eventually start to take over those duties as well. Because many of these teams want their best scorer to also run the point. But this guy, Devin Booker, he has preternatural level of scoring ability. Like he went over there to Boston this year and scored 46 points on a team that's considered the best defensive team in the NBA. So, once again, he's a diamond in the rough. They're just going to have to develop him.
But he's so young; those things can be learned and can be taught. So when you start talking about a young player like this, you gotta bring in that word franchise because he is a player that's been getting the job done on a night-to-night basis for this team in the past couple of seasons.
And beyond that, I think that there should be a distinction made between a franchise player and somebody who's a superstar. There are many players in the NBA who people would consider franchise players who are not quite superstars yet. A franchise player is just somebody that you want to build around. And I think that Devin Booker has shown himself to be somebody who could potentially be that, someone that you want to build around. Because there's nothing that he physically can't do. So everything else that he needs to improve upon is just something that he's going to have to focus on and build upon incrementally and just become a better player every year. Once again, he's only 21 years old. I really didn't know how good he was when he was at Kentucky. But once again, it just shows you the level of talent that they have coming through that institution, coming through Kentucky. Because they had him and Karl Anthony Towns on the same team, I believe.
And look, I made that comment about the Suns roster, not as a dig. They will tell you themselves, we are still trying to have these young players and rebuild, and we're pointing toward the future, and they have their whole plan. Well, that's my point. That is my point.
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns, they're one of those farm system teams in the NBA. And unfortunately, they allow that in the NBA. They allow that farm system mentality. But Adam Silver, I give him credit. He's done a little bit to try to, trying to push that mentality out of the league. Hopefully they do pass that provision that states that your draft stock or your draft status is going to be dependent on how many wins you get. No, in the reverse, it's not going to be you getting the number one draft pick based off of having the most losses. After the lottery, it's just going to be based on who has the most wins, who didn't make the playoffs. That's going to determine who gets the highest, the best chances of winning the draft lottery. So we'll see what happens with that.
They will tell you this is all by design and they have a plan. We have heard this before. Is it finally it?
Go to break.
The plan is in place until they have a winning season. I mean, that's the.
Keep in mind that Amin El-Hassan was at one time employed by the Phoenix Suns. So he's laughing that hard, number one, because he has some knowledge of the inner workings of their franchise, and also he may be a little pissed off that they let him go or that he left or whatever happened, whatever the dynamics were of him leaving that organization.
That's the plan.
Right. Okay. All right. Time for today.
All right. So now the television show Inside Stuff, they also had a good feature on Devin Booker. Kristen Letlow, the female to the right on your screen, who's dressed up like a little girl for whatever reason. I guess she's still trying to hold on to that little last bit of her 20s. I believe that she's about to turn 30 or something like that. And I told you, brothers, many of these women, they go through a very trying and traumatic time period in their life when they're about to hit 30 or right on 30. They're still trying to hold on to that same energy they had in their early 20s, late teens. But anyway, she sat down with Devin Booker for his birthday and was able to get some introspective thoughts from Devin Booker. Let's see what he had to say.
Anyway, in just his third season, Devin Booker has taken over as the star and leader of one of the NBA's youngest teams, the Phoenix Suns. He's making some history as well. Last year, Devin became just the 6th NBA player to score 70 points in a game. And
well, wait a minute. He scored 70 points in a game? That's more than Michael Jordan ever scored. The Kobe fans, they say that Kobe's better than Jordan because he scored 81 and Jordan never did that. So, Devin Booker must be better than Michael Jordan too.
and recently became the 4th youngest to hit the 3,000-point mark.
But when he's not busy lighting up NBA scoreboards, Devin enjoys what many other people in Phoenix like to do.
In all honesty, though, with the start to his career that he's gotten, Devin Booker, assuming that he does not get hurt, and with the territory that he's about to lay out in Phoenix for himself as a potential superstar player, he could possibly be a 30,000-point scorer. We'll see.
Like to do. Getting out the golf clubs. In this case, he plays a variation known as top golf. Now, he knows the game well. I don't. I never claimed to, but
Excuses.
That did not stop me from issuing a challenge. Got you going first.
Me first?
Yeah, that's what it says.
What target are we going for?
What? Okay, I can't even do stuff like that. Oh, okay. Well, he's good at this. You ever golf? Do you go with your teammates and play?
Top golf.
So you're not an actual, golfer.
I've golfed probably twice. I like riding the carts more than anything.
Oh, you don't even use the tee.
You don't use the tee with this club. I don't
Okay,
think
well,
so.
I've been golfing for about 11 total minutes.
Golf, for those of you brothers who don't know, is a sport that was created by the British nobility. When I say British, I'm talking about England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, particularly in Scotland, during, I believe, the mid-1600s. And by the way, those people were so-called black. Okay? it came into prominence around the 15th century, 16th century. The Stuart line of kings used to enjoy playing golf. Some of them had an issue with it, but others of them, accepted it. But golf is a game, at least the modern version of golf, was created or basically formulated, and the modern composition of the game of golf was created by the so-called black nobility of Britain, particularly Scotland. All right, but you brothers could look that up.
Okay, that was a practice swing. I was just... You edit that out.
Oh, it's 12 points. Wow.
Another good one.
Uh-oh. Struggling.
Almost.
No, that's not getting it.
This is actually far more competitive than I thought it would be.
You've golfed before, she's lying.
The biggest shot of my golf career.
6 points, 100 exactly.
100 exactly. All right. Okay. That went a lot better than I thought it was going to go.
68.
You scored more than that in the basketball game.
Kristen Lidlow better stop playing and go marry her. One of these NBA players is always flirting with her because she's starting to look like a trailer park chick, man. The hell is going on? Looks 35 years old trying to dress 20.
That's why I play basketball.
Devin Booker. Oh, man.
You know, it's like you're at the gas station and you're just watching the price go up and up. I mean, he can't miss.
So this is the guy that can score the basketball.
Just does get it off and buries it.
Booker, a deep three. Got it. Another 10.
Yeah, this dude, he just gets buckets, man. Every generation you have players who can just score the basketball extremely well. And when I say just score, I remember back in the 90s there was a player named Mitch Richmond, for a lot of you brothers who remember. Dude could just get buckets, man. Great, great, great scorer. And overall, very good player, but great, great scorer.
Well, he won't call up till next week.
What are the day-to-day challenges of having such a young roster?
I don't think there's many teams with 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are playing as many minutes as we are. Crunch time part of the games, lay down the stretch, competing against those guys that have been playing with each other 5 to 10 years, they have the advantage on us.
And beyond that, when you have a team that young, they still don't know who they want to keep and who they need to let go of yet. They know they need to keep him. Their vet is Tyson Chandler. But, he's not going to be around long enough to see this team mature. So they have to figure out what they want to do with this young man right here. Do they want to move him over to point guard and make him another one of these hybrid point shooting guards who averages 30 points and 10 assists? Or do they want to bring in a real point guard? Or do they trust whoever they have right there now? I believe Tyler Ulis.
Has it given you, though, an opportunity to step into a leadership role?
It does. At the same time, being a leader, and then I'm still figuring out what I'm trying to do. I'm caught in the middle right now, but trying to work on it, leading by example, bringing energy, things that I can control.
That does not bode well for Phoenix. He said things that I can control. In other words, he views that there are certain components, certain aspects of playing in Phoenix that he does not like, but he cannot control. Could be the front office, could be the coaching. But they better try to lock this. They better try to lock this young man up while they can in regards to a contract situation, because if they let him hit free agency, he may just bail.
Up ahead to Booker. Booker turns, fires, hits it at the buzzer.
There's great footage on YouTube of him going one-on-one against Andre Iguodala back when he was in high school, and he had the same game that he has now. He was, it wasn't extremely fervent, the one-on-one. They were basically just going through their different moves, and they were playing each other one-on-one, but it wasn't a hardcore one-on-one game. But Booker had all the same moves that he's showing now in the NBA.
You can see the defensive attention that the Lakers are paying Booker. Doesn't matter.
Oh, brother.
It's your third season already.
Third season.
At the age of 21.
Just
Do you
turned.
start to feel old or like a veteran yet?
Kind of. I was thrown in the fire since my rookie year. I had a chance to play. And once I got out there, I didn't want to ever look back. So ever since then, I've been getting experience, been playing a lot, starting games. So I have my feet under me a little bit.
At what point did you realize that you really could do this at a high level?
I go out there, compete against the top guys in the league that, I used to study their film, watch all their games, and now I'm going against these guys. So, I didn't want to think too much of it. I just wanted to have fun with it. And once I started having fun, the game slowed down for me, and I was like, I belong in this league.
You mentioned that you just turned 21. I took it upon myself to actually get you a present.
Uh-oh.
A cake and a birthday card.
And a birthday card?
It's all happening.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. They're going to bring it. Watch.
I'm excited.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy birthday, dear Devin. I'm the only one with a microphone on, so I'm the only one that they're going to hear. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, this is
I'd like you to read the card aloud.
Read the card.
Yes.
I'm really excited about this.
I
It's my
know.
best birthday gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Because you trying to hit. I bet you are really excited.
Birthday gift,
Yeah.
honestly.
You want to blow out your candle too?
Oh, okay. Gotta make a wish first.
Yeah. What'd you wish for?
Hey, can't tell you. Can't tell you. You know that.
It's fair.
Happy
You damn right he can't tell you. Because he's not trying to get caught up in that sexual harassment. That sexual harassment trend that's going on right now. You tell a bitch she looks cute today, and you might be going to jail. So he was a smart man to not say what he wished for. But I guarantee you, it involved Kristen Letlow and her ass in the air. I guarantee you, that's part of the wish.
Happy birthday from all of us, except Grant. Happiest of birthdays, my little Phoenix son, Kristen.
That was a womp womp. She called him my little Phoenix son. So, bruh, you can forget any chance of hitting that. She looks at you like a little kid.
Not Grant.
That's good, right?
Hey, I appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Look at Devin Booker. Devin Booker mad as hell. Like, you mean I came over out here to play golf with your ass and you gonna put me in the friend zone?
All done. Pass that birthday card around the office.
We did?
Yeah, I don't know how it didn't get to you, honestly.
See, what had happened, Devin, was I honestly didn't see it.
That just doesn't sound like something I would do.
Huh.
Look, I like Grant Hill as a player, but he's not a host. I'm sorry. The man has no type of swag at all. But hey, he was a great player before he got hurt. But I remember being a kid watching the old Inside Stuff with Ahmad Rashad. And Ahmad Rashad had swag and a half. This brother Grant Hill, he just don't have it. He needs to just go own the Atlanta Hawks and support his wife and just chill. Because, hey, it is what it is. Let me not knock the brother too much.
Huh.
Since that interview, though, Devin has been sidelined. He suffered a groin injury in a game against Toronto this week, and he's expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Of course.
Yeah, he was hoping that you would injure his groin. You over there fucking around. Devin, like, I was trying to show you how I hit from deep. Over here, got me out here playing golf and shit, wasting my time. I could be practicing my jumper. Give me this bullshit card talking about my Phoenix son.
Of course, we wish him a very speedy recovery, but how impressive a season has he had thus far?
He has been so impressive, and really, as Phoenix is going through a rebuilding process, he's one of those cornerstones, a guy who has the potential to be an all-star, a guy you can build around. And so Devin Booker, a very young player, but still, he's becoming a great player, and the sky's the limit for him. The future is going to be very bright for Devin Booker.
Look, let me say this about Devin Booker. He may want to consider leaving the Phoenix Suns and going to a team in the East. It's going to be very difficult for him to make the All-Star team in the West. That conference is so loaded. You're going to have players in the Western Conference that go to the Hall of Fame that might not make one All-Star game in their career. Like Damian Lillard might never make an All-Star team in his career. And he's going to the Hall of Fame. So Devin Booker may want to consider that move to the East.
Just not on the golf course. That's me. We're going to go ahead and take a break.
But anyway, look out for Devin Booker. He is a name to watch out for. He is a player on the rise. Anyway, peace.